We're back. T.A. Mahoney, Tales from the Darkside. We got another podcast for you. We're talking fishing, and I brought my weirdo buddy, round two now. He's been on here once. If y'all want to see Captain Mark Feewox, you can go back on previous podcast and pick him up, and if not, you can listen up tonight. What's up, Mark?
I think you tricked me in to come in here and do one of the first ones with you.
Yeah, probably had to. Nobody'd come in. They go, what?
Right.
You know, at least if
they all thought it was you playing a joke on them.
Yeah, and if it bombed, it wouldn't have been too bad with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
If it was, one of these famous guys we got on the internet, CA or Anderson, it would have been.
It hurt
tough.
Somebody's feelings, huh?
Yeah. Say hello to Cam tonight in his little skinny jeans. He's here filming us in a nice little. He's got. How do you have a big truck? Big four-wheel drive with, I noticed, all-terrain tires on it. So that could be he's thinking of going off-road. And he's got skinny jeans. Skinny jeans and F-250 diesels, they don't...
No respect. Cam back there working his ass off.
He'll be all right. He's doing a good job for us anyway. At least he's not on video. Maybe we can get him on video before we cut off tonight.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Huh? So how's fishing, man? We're in the springtime. I've been with you. We've done some filming. We got a TV show coming out, Waypoint TV. We're putting that together. Should be a month or something like that. But fishing's good.
Oh, man, this is it for this time.
Yeah, man.
Some guys have their favorite months at other times. Mine's mid-April to, mid-May, June. It's that time of year where
We've had some
anything
good times.
can happen.
How many times have we gone out? A couple anyway in the last few weeks.
We have. We've gone out. What did we get? A bunch of grouper one time.
Yeah, we got some.
We weren't able to. I had to cancel our trolling trip. It got rough. We didn't get to go wahoo fishing yet.
Yeah, I went. What was it? The next week or something?
Yeah.
You had some inshore trips or close to shore.
Yeah, I was sticking near shore.
I took a run out there with some buddies and did the big zero. We were talking about fuel money a little while ago, and boy, that was a day that hurt. Couldn't even eat any fresh fish, and spent quite a bit. I think we had 4 or 5 on the boat, so it made it a little easier for us.
Well, that was one of those go big or go home, and you just went home.
That's right.
Yeah, you're never going to hit it if you don't try it.
That's right.
I mean, if you're not going to go out there and swing.
Well, and it was really the week before, which was a couple weeks ago, from when we went with you grouper fishing. So when I go out there personally, and believe me, I hit zeros more than once a year, more than I like to, but when it happens, it just kind of makes you feel more excited for the next trip. And
it does.
Next trip, we had a great time with you and caught fish, got to film it, and had a great time.
There's not a lot of guys here that'll do what we do and waste that kind of money to do those kind of trips. There's just not. It's now you line it up when all the stars align and the conditions are right and the water looks good. You got a temperature break, but very few are that dedicated to this is what I want to do. We're going to go out. We're going to stick to it all day long. We're going to be riding around looking at big snapper shows and grouper marks on the bottom of 300 or 400 feet of water, and you're going to want to stop and bottom fish so bad. But you know what? Just keep on trucking. Keep pulling that spread. Keep waiting for the big one.
That's right. What I try to do is not even carry those bottom rods on the boat to tempt you, because most of my buddies, most people around here are bottom fishermen, but we only get those few times to troll. And you've kind of fished all over. You've been down in the Keys for a few years and up towards Pensacola and fished that area and done a lot of deep water. What's one of the most important things, like when you say everything gets aligned, what does that mean to you for offshore trolling?
It means moon phase.
And what is the
tides and water temperature.
Right. So when you go to a moon,
early spring, get a water temperature break that's like 74 or something.
And how do you find that out?
There's several subscription services. I use RIP charts.
Right.
And basically it's a satellite survey of sea surface temperatures, and it gives you some other information on it as well. But they have real detailed ones you can order from Roths and stuff like that. But this one, it costs you a few hundred bucks a year for a subscription, and you can kind of keep an eye on what's going on out there. Like, where's there a little piece of warm water, or a good temperature break. And when that lines up with we've actually done good. Contrary to our bottom fishing, the full moon, we've actually done well on our trolling trips for the wahoo on the full moons.
Yeah. And
April, we've done several trips over the years. You know how on Facebook you get your little
Oh, yeah.
memories pop up. There's a lot of wahoo
Kinda
pictures that
poach
pop
you.
up every year. Yep.
well, in the spring and fall.
Yes.
And
Again in October,
Yeah.
we did pretty good.
Just like snook fishing, springtime and falls when you get them on the move when they're off the beach or out of the back country and they seem more active and you get more of an opportunity
Yeah.
to catch one. But
I mean, they incidental. We caught 3 last year during red snapper season. Just happened to be right place. They hang around.
yeah,
Seems like all summer long, but really the times we've targeted them with the trolling, I think that's the time we want to be where we're at because
yeah, that springtime
we've
it
had
seems like they're coming.
multiple fish days, and yeah, you can actually target them.
Right. It's nothing like, that day we went, I said we got a goose egg, right off. And the more I think about it, and it's a lot easier when you're thinking about your story of the fish that got away, is to think it was the big trophy fish, of course, right?
Right.
Because nobody can prove you different
Right.
because it got off. But we all know what wahoo do, and they have
Yeah.
a tremendous head shake. And a lot of times, if they hit that lure at the surface, that's the first thing they do when they know they're hooked. And that morning we were out there, we had a big black bart bait on, and we used that Hilton real-time navigation, which is another good one. I met the guy, Thomas Hilton, down in the Keys.
I know that's a good one. Yeah.
He's a good guy. We're kind of tuned into that. It's, I guess, a monthly
Yeah.
payment or whatever, and you can pull it up online, but it really does help. And we were in some bluish yellow water, but the real temp break was 150 miles out.
Yeah, I saw
and
that one out there.
center console just isn't going to do it. So how we look for that line on that temp break, and where do you want to be? You want to be on that line. It really doesn't matter where, just
And the cool things about those, you can drop a waypoint
yeah.
on your phone and then store your saved maps. And it may have moved a mile or two, but if you zigzag through there, sometimes the transition, depending on what the currents are doing with that temperature
That's
break,
right.
is really spread out, and sometimes it's much tighter together.
Right, and they also show you another important thing looking for pelagics, and it was something you had mentioned to me earlier in the year, an upwelling.
Yes.
Where the upwelling, somebody we knew, I forget, it might have been
Kevin
Tyler
at Fish.
or Kevin.
Yeah, he actually, they have done a lot of marlin fishing and
That's
stuff
right.
out there. And when it lines up, he really knows how to read these, and he's kind of schooling me on it. He'll be like, man, you need to go over here. There's a 1 foot upwelling or something like where the currents are, and it's literally brings the fish in because it's like you've got this difference in currents in that area, that
Right.
upwelling.
Right, it's there's a lot that goes into it.
I don't understand it all, but I know that the guys that fish out there, if they tell me to look for that, that's what I'm going to be looking
Yeah,
for.
it's
You know,
learning.
I don't have to understand it to the tiniest bit, but yeah, keep an eye out for it.
One of the hardest things on this coast, and one of the reasons why I say it, is catching those pelagics. My dad bottom fished, Captain Bob Mahoney, he bottom fished all his life out of this coast, with 100 miles
We've got,
and in.
Some of the best
Never.
bottom fishing in anywhere.
Yeah, he's never seen a wahoo. He can't recall catching one. He can't, the tuna we catch, they're in right now. From close to shore to
They just
20
really
miles,
turn-
50
yeah.
miles,
Yep.
But, I guess it's different movements or going after them. But one of the things I really like is if me and you had a really good snook spot, right? And we never saw anybody there, and we constantly were able to catch big snook on this spot, eventually people are going to see you.
Right.
You're going to, when you're out there,
Especially a good fisherman.
Yeah, he's
or
looking.
someone that recognizes you or something, yeah.
There's certain spots like the spring that we go to, we talk about in 300 foot of water, but there's also areas that there is no bottom structure. It's the current that we're looking for and kind of what we're talking about to catch those pelagics. And believe me, I know very little about catching them. I'm thrilled to death every time, and
Me too.
people like Kevin from Fisherman's Ideal, he's always willing to help and give you some input. But regardless of what anybody tells you, it's time out there. when you spend enough time and you learn how to catch those kind of fish and what to look for, you could be 10 miles south next year, 40 miles north, later in the year.
And it's where sometimes that bait will show up, the flying fish.
Yeah.
You'll be running, you think you're going to go somewhere, but you start running through an area and there's just a lot of life. And you're like, well, we're in 150. We're way short of where we were running. It's like so many times I've run past that and made that mistake.
That's right.
To keep on going because I had in my head planned where I was going to catch them and then zeroed out and then said, man, I know better than that. You go where the life is. It's a big desert out here. If you're seeing a lot of bait running around and stuff, you really ought to just, if you see what it takes to bring life together out there, you should stop and fish it no matter what.
Yeah, and we passed it.
Because
I've been with you and
screwed myself doing that.
It wasn't where we were headed, so we just looked at it and we could have taken 5 or 10 minutes
especially with
out.
Tuna, because so many, the tuna follow the bait schools.
Yeah.
And we're headed out. We want to go troll for tuna. We killed them out, the flying fish out in 150 or whatever. Well, you're running through 100 feet of water, and all of a sudden you start seeing sardine schools. It's like, man, this is really where we should camp out all day, if we're going to chase the blackfins around, because eventually they're going to start chewing, and we'll pull them out middle of the day,
Right. And around here, you want to get out there. I know with myself, I like to be out there. Last trip we went on, I think it was daybreak, and we were.
Yeah, you guys had lines in the water at like 7.
Yeah, it was good.
100 miles out, so that was y'all got
had
it
a
done
good
quick.
time. Caught a ton of fish. Had a lot of jokes. You've seen some jokes now in the last couple of trips with that.
Oh
crew
yeah,
I
yeah.
got, huh?
Oh, of course.
Tying people up.
Oh, it never ends. It starts with a sardine head left in your foul weather gear pocket, and it just goes from there.
Yeah, but
once
what?
Started, it's continuous.
You got to admit, having Matt Clapp off the boat the last couple trips and not showing up, there's a big difference when he's not there and when he's there. So all the flim-flam ain't on this one.
I think there's 2 reasons for that. Not the least being the fact that he's not there has taken away one of your targets you really like to hit. So the total number of instances drops down.
Oh yeah, you know something.
It ain't just him. It's because he wasn't there for you to target. That also helped.
Right. Like the other day, I had my friend Casey on the boat. Everybody canceled on me.
Yeah.
You ever have that problem? You call up, hey, we're going to go fishing. I think they started canceling 10 hours before the trip. And the last one canceled 10 minutes before the trip. But we went anyway.
Yeah.
Said, I'm going. I was ready to fish. It was a beautiful day.
Oh, exactly.
Lots of red grouper.
We changed a little bit of what we were going to do.
Yep.
And
boat ran better. Matter of fact, you guys
we
that
saved
called
fuel.
in on me, we saved fuel.
Definitely.
And the boat rode better. It was a win-win.
Yeah, instead of having all them big guys leaning up against the transom, the boat jumped right up on plane. It was just beautiful.
Yeah, handled
able to
totally
back
different.
way off and just it was a great day.
Yeah,
and we caught our fish too. We got our limiter grouper and
had some good
got
ones.
it done. It was beautiful weather. You know how that goes, man. When you get those days,
A little bit of wind. What was it? 1.5 feet, 2 foot.
if that a nice breeze to keep it cool. The water temperature's only like 75, 76 that day.
Right.
I mean, it don't get any better.
Hey, I'll give you a suggestion to the people out there. If you ever hire Mark Feewox, Captain Mark, tell him you want to catch what he wants to catch, and you will have the best time. It's something I use up in Louisiana when I go. A lot of us want to catch certain trophy fish, like a wahoo. And on your bottom trips, you don't get wahoo every time. What'd you say? You got 3 last year bottom fishing.
Yep.
It's not something that's guaranteed. A tuna's not guaranteed, but you probably
A
got
lot more of those, yeah.
20 or 30 different trips out of 60. At least half of them you might have got tuna on. So if there's something biting and there's something you want to get, let Mark know. He's going to put you on them. If it's not happening, if you want to go catch red grouper and the red grouper bite is not on, he'll tell you. Let's go catch something else. Let's catch scamp. Let's
go do
gags,
yellowtail,
mangoes, yellowtails. He's excellent at yellowtail for sure. The snapper fishing, Mark definitely he's good at, and you should give him a shot. We got a break coming up. We got another segment with Captain Mark Feewox, and we'll be right back. We're back. T.A. Mahoney, Tales from the Darkside. I got Captain Mark Feewox, my fishing buddy, with me today. He does too many charters, so we've been slacking.
Yeah, we haven't been
fishing.
in here in a while.
Seems like every time it gets good, disappearing act. Houdini. But it's been good. It's springtime. Mark, give your number out real quick.
Yeah, 813-333-8257, and it's Markin Fish.
Markinfish.com.
Yeah, .com. Yep.
Got a website.
Check out the website.
So if you ever
Give me a call, ask what's biting, and I'll tell you. I'll shoot you straight.
he'll put you on them.
We'll
That's
go
for
kill
sure.
some fish if you want to.
You know, sometimes weather, the hardest thing to do is to be an offshore charter boat captain because you don't know what the weather is going to be week to week. Most people have to plan that trip. You know you're going. Somebody's, right there written in, but, how many trips a year do you get canceled because of weather, would you say?
I didn't add up last year.
It'd be scary to even think,
yeah,
huh?
Because I remember last year in June during snapper season, we lost over half of that month.
Right.
14 unfishable days in
you've
a month that's traditionally not that bad. I think it was almost 2 weeks.
You've had a string of bad luck at times. Now, last season you were there.
Yeah, I was the
but
whole
you've had
season ran it right
fuel
through.
tank problems, motor problems.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Refiberglassing. Got a heck of a boat, 34 Ocean Master. Real nice platform to fish on. Runs fast enough, when you're cruising 30, 32. Anything above that isn't fun for everybody. Your boat, you can get up, walk around, grab a sandwich, whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
And it's high enough sides where you don't feel like you're going to fall out.
No, we finally got it. Year before last is when it was the November before is when I pulled it out again and went ahead and cut the transom out, redid the transom, closed it in, glassed in my new fish box and storage in the back, and then put a bracket on the back. Hung the motors back on that.
Runs totally different.
It's way.
You
way
have
better.
that on the website too, the pictures of the
I've
boat,
got some
full
of
transom?
it. I've got some of the new pictures. Yeah.
You're on Facebook also, which
Yeah.
shows the transom all the time.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, beautiful.
A lot of room
boat.
for a center console. We got like an 8-foot by 10-foot cockpit back there.
There's
Or
none
12
of
foot.
them
Yeah.
that are big enough when it gets bad.
No.
They all seem small,
And
and you've been out in some bad
we
stuff.
have
Tell
had
us about
some-
that. That was
Last year,
was it
night
last
trip.
year or the two years ago.
Well, we got into one last year with Matt. I think Matt was on the boat. Some of our crew was on the boat, and we were going out to do a night trip, and we left
Full
about
moon, wasn't it?
Yep, 4 in the afternoon, and it called for some thunderstorms on the beach, and we were like, yeah, let's get out before that. And we were headed 70 miles offshore. So we got out there, and that little bit of thunderstorms on the shore turned into this massive 40-mile wide and like 50-mile long
I think
cluster of thunderstorms.
Sunk some
Because
boats.
it did. You said you saw it on the news, and you were just like, holy crap, those guys are out
Well,
in that.
what happened was our
4
buddy,
boats went down.
Yeah, Steve Cross called me, and I saw it like you saw it. I hadn't seen it blow up. And he called me and goes, hey, do you think, those guys are going to be all right? And I'm like, well, knowing you, and I fished with you, and we've been in foul weather,
Yeah.
and, you don't panic. You
Do what's got to be done to
You
get
know
it,
what
get
to
it back.
do, and keep your head on and get a plan and go. And that's what you got to have. You can't be undecided.
We spent my heading home from where I was running was 105 degrees to get back to Paso Grill. I was running at 45 degrees for 2 hours towards Crystal River because I
Crystal
had
River, I was going to say,
I
yeah.
had 2 full hours
To
keeping
go
the nose
around
into
it?
it. No, to keep from being the waves were 6, 8s, whatever. I don't know. It was so dark.
And close together.
Oh,
I'm
like
sure.
stacked right together, and
Yeah.
they were breaking over the top. It was unsafe for me to turn the boat and at that heading because we would have been taking them on the
Trying to
side.
get
It would have dumped
yeah.
us. I don't
And
care
you
how
had
wide.
6 people on the boat,
Yeah.
didn't you?
So I told them all to hang out. We're going to be safe. We're fine. But it's going to be a long night. And I think we got back to the dock at like 1 or 2 in the morning. Something like that. I was finally able to turn after 2 hours and start slowly making our way home. And we
Yeah,
made
that
it
was
on
crazy.
in.
Steve had called me, our buddy Steve Cross, and asked me what I thought, and I kind of said, it ain't nothing. They're going to get rained on a little bit, and they'll probably destroy the fish. Well, As soon as I hung up, I went on to check it, and I instantly called him back, and I said, now I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because he was acting like it was huge, and I looked at it 20 minutes before, and it wasn't that big.
Yeah.
And it kind of looked like it was, which that's why we're not a meteorologist, and sometimes that equipment.
Yes. I've got my full-on satellite weather system now.
Yeah. It makes
so
it
I
easy.
can pull it up, I can overlay it. And also it's going to save me some fishing days where I was headed to a spot I wanted to fish, and it looks like there's a bunch of stuff. Now I just pull up the satellite weather on my charts and see where it's clear, and it'll show you how it's moving. I mean, it's a great tool.
Yeah, definitely, and I recommend it. I know I've been on boats with it. You can set alarms for lightning.
You can, especially like I'm doing a night trip
Yeah.
Monday night. One of the things I do once we anchor up, I set a perimeter alarm on my radar, but you can also now set an alarm for like a weather alert. So, because at night that's when it can sneak up on you. I mean, you see lightning and stuff off in the distance, but it's amazing how quick that stuff can get up on you.
Now, the night trip you're doing, is that a trip somebody booked and requested, or is that something you offer? Or?
Both. This one was requested. They had, and I ended up filling it up. I put a little ad out there and got a few more people to fill up the boat.
So you do what they call a split trip,
I'll
right?
do a split trip when if you got a group of people that you don't have 6 and you want to keep costs down, what we can do is book you and then try to fill up the boat by putting an ad out there, and they usually do. They usually get full. And I offer the night trips only in these months. I might do one in September, but
Is it coming up on full moon?
Yeah.
So it's a full
Sunday
moon
night,
trip.
yeah. It's going to be an interesting full moon because there's a full lunar eclipse the night we're going to be out, so it's going to be a really cool night.
Yeah,
I love that summertime night fishing.
Hopefully you'll get some good weather this time.
I do. It's so far, knock on wood, it's looking good. And man, basically these fish, I haven't been out there to get on them yet. Left this area alone. Hopefully we just dust them.
Yeah, well, I hope you do.
We
too,
turned
I'm
around
sure.
by 10 o'clock before to come in, limited out when we left at 4. Went out grouper fished, then got set up on our stuff for the snapper and been done and just, let's head home.
Nothing to
Those
do.
are the
That's
kind of
hard
nights
to
I
do.
like. Yeah,
I go, no,
60 snapper in the boat.
We
Yeah.
ain't going home. We got another day limit. Can you, when you go out there overnight, can you keep 2 days?
You got to
or
be
how's
over
that work?
24 hours, and you have to have another captain on board, and you have to have sleeping quarters. That's what it does. And I literally can do that on my boat. I just choose not to.
Yeah, it's a lot of fish. I mean,
It's
when
a
they're
lot of fish.
10 snapper a piece. And
I mean, you get an
waters,
right. If you do it like I can do an overnight trip where we go keep our limit, but literally overnight, leave in the afternoon, spend the night, come back the next day. We still have a lot of fish we can choose from when we do it in the right months. You keep 2 gag grouper, 2 red grouper, your 10 snapper, plus some additional fish that don't
bonus
count.
fish, hopefully a wahoo or a
20
tuna.
reef fish I think is the total per person of any mixture of fish, but yeah, it gets to a point where
Now, do you
how
only
much are you going to use?
do you only do the full moon trip, the nighttime trip, once a month?
I'm trying if I get enough people asking, like if I say, hey, I'm doing a trip Monday and I get some extra people, I'll try to push it off and do a second one. My thing was, because I don't like daytime fishing for grouper, right? I'll fish the
Right.
grouper right up till. I'm just not a big fan of that slow bite that happens right on and after the full.
Yeah.
So if I could do night trips for 3 or 4 nights after that, and then a day to sleep and get my clock back, that would be
Sure.
the awesome way to go keep the rods bent through all that.
Well, I know we used to do a lot of snook fishing in the summer, and it gets so hot during the
Yeah.
day, especially offshore like that. Nowhere to hide, really. I mean, you got good shade on your boat, it being so wide with a hard top, but still, it gets hot out there. And those nighttime trips, that's when we used
man.
to fish for snook.
Yeah.
And get
It's
out
nice.
there. It's pleasant. Get back in. You're running during daylight hours.
Yeah.
It seems like
Yeah.
it's a lot more enjoyable, especially once it gets
And you
hot.
see all the cool stuff at night when you're set up in the lights and
Yeah.
stuff. You never know what's going to show up. It's a good time. And even doing like a 8 or a 10 hour night trip, not an overnight, just a straight night fishing trip, is a good trip.
Yeah, and you'll
It's-
do all that. You'll
Yeah.
arrange it to where even on full moon, I know we've noticed, we've been out there fishing before. It seems like, right at daybreak you can catch some fish for sure on
Yeah.
full moon, but beyond that, it's kind of an afternoon bite.
Mm-hmm.
2, 3 o'clock on, and that's one of the things I like about fishing with Mark is he'll adjust those hours where, hey, there's no reason if we're going to be catching fish at 3 or 4, why are we leaving at 6?
Right.
So you adjust your day, and you'll do that for pretty much anybody if they want to work.
Yeah, and I'll let them know I mean, you can't get it right all the time, but if I know, like I fished the day before and that bite was at 4 o'clock, I'm going to tell everyone to be at the boat at 10 or whatever it is. Say, man, it was dead in the morning. Just trust me. They will turn on. Yeah.
I like sleep.
Yeah, sleep and go have breakfast and
It's like when Mark,
So
what
rare.
was the last trip? You said, I want to leave the dock when? 5?
5, yeah.
Yeah, I want to leave at 5. It's like, leave at 5.
So be here before,
And we got out of there. I think it was 5:15, 5:20. And
I think we even upped it when we figured it was just going to be us. I said, well, we're not running that far. Let's go at 6. I remember it was, but yeah, you've been at the marina at 4:45 many times.
Yeah. That's
And bringing the ice and everything with you.
Have to unload ice, 1,000 pounds of ice. Some of these inshore guys that complain
They have
about
no idea how much work,
running,
man.
and not that they don't work. I know they work hard.
No, they do. They're just smart. That's all.
Yeah, doing it a little bit easier that often. And a
Yeah,
lot of times
they're just
inshore,
smart.
you can make something happen. Are you limited on your choices if the wind picks up?
I've got some. I can still do some near shore.
Just depending on
stuff.
which way it comes
It depends on my customers.
Yeah.
If I got a group from out of town, and I'm like, look, we're getting blasted, but it's like May or June, I might throw, hey, we can go hit the bridge and tarpon fish, or I could take you out, we could shark fish. We can get some lines bent and we could have a good time.
Right.
Maybe do a 6-hour trip instead of a 12.
Yeah.
But the guys that are from around here that want to go grouper fishing, they're out. There's like, a lot of people specifically want to target bottom fish.
I remember years and years ago, a real good friend of mine that passed away, Bill Stolzing, a good friend of the store. Captain Ernie Rubio introduced me to him, but great guy. And we were down in Boca Grande, and that was back when Boca Grande, everybody was petting the fish and naming them and, releasing them so gently so the bull sharks and hammerheads can eat them. And it was a bad day. It was windy. So Rubio rolled in that pass with that 43 Viking Express, and we caught tarpon.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there was
He's
a lot of
badass
people that
fisherman.
weren't happy about it. Well, it makes me think about your boat.
Yeah.
Out there.
Oh, yeah, when I pull up in
Beam Point with a 34 Ocean
They're going to be,
Master. What's the beam on that boat?
12.8.
Yeah, 12.8. I noticed what they do over there a lot.
Got the
It seems
stern.
like anchor up and chum.
Yeah.
You get one on, untie it, and just kind of let him do his thing.
I've already thought about it. Like if I used to tarpon fish a lot growing up.
Yeah.
And I could get a smaller bay boat and run some tarpon trips. It would be smart if I got back into that. But I got burnt out on it for fishing tarpon since my dad drugged me around the state and everything. We chased tarpon around. That's basically what he wanted to do. The Keys, North Florida, and
you
light
can't even
tackle.
eat it.
Well, light tackle. He didn't let us use anything. We had nothing on our setups over 12-pound test mono.
And that's what you jumped
And that's
up
what
and
we
down
used.
about and
Yeah,
bragged
man,
about.
because I'd be fighting a fish for 3 hours at a time. And finally, I started getting a little heavier tackle. He had an old 6-aught with 50-pound Dacron on it. And I was
I'm
like,
gonna tell you
I
my
want to
take.
use this one. That way I can get this done.
I'm going to tell you my take on it. You got that light line and you want to do all that fancy pants stuff. You're not really fighting the fish. You put some heat on him,
Yeah.
and you're going to see what he's made of. When we catch those mango snapper up in Louisiana, we ain't light lining them and talking.
Oh
to
no,
them
you
and-
got to get them done. The mangoes. and
You're
stuff.
lock drag. And I'll tell you, for somebody to say, oh, you're catching, 10-pound mangoes on 60-pound test, it's not even fun doing that. They haven't done it.
No, they haven't done it.
Because you can't even turn the handle. It's you and him and walk to the back of the boat and
Yeah.
sling him in. I think we talked about
It's-
it last time, but I got you on one there in Venice. We were snapper fishing, right? Snapper man,
Yeah, yeah.
making a mess, Mark. You know why I call him making a mess? Because he will
Here we
make a
go.
mess. You didn't want to talk about that.
No, you go ahead. Yeah, yeah.
He'll make a mess, but he's getting better because he's got his own boat now.
Yeah.
But if you ever hear me say making a mess, Mark Feewox, that's who I'm talking about.
Right.
But
yeah.
we were in Venice.
My
and,
wife agrees with you, man.
Same thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So
She's like, that
rapper-
is the perfect nickname for
I
you.
have to get with her to get some ammo.
She's probably got some.
Get some ammo. I need to give her a call. Man.
Yeah, we'll have to get her on the show one
That's
time.
for sure. You're in a fancy pants neighborhood over there too,
Yeah,
cleaning pigs and deer and
They don't like me at all.
fish out front.
Yeah, yep. Throwing
The
casts,
life of
working
a
out.
fisherman.
Yeah.
I was going to try to get her on here to have her talk about what it's like to be married to a charter captain.
Oh, I'm sure she could put right down a
She'd
few
have a
points
mouthful.
and tell you. Yeah,
You know, now you don't have to justify buying any fun stuff
that's just
because
it.
you're a charter captain. I had
It's
to have
all
that
for
brand
business.
new
Yeah.
lure. You know, Mark, we did some trolling 3 weeks ago,
hmm
and what happened with the wire?
Oh yeah,
The
it got
kinked
bit. It was
wire.
too light. No, it was
kinked
that
wire.
60-pound multi-strand trying to get the bite, and he cut it.
Lost the nomad flying fish.
And we saw a tuna hit that thing too right before it came
Yeah.
flying out and missed the hook.
That's
That nomad flying fish like a bird, and that they crushed it.
it's pretty neat. You know, there's been a lot of flying fish that have come out, but I definitely think that's one that trolls a good pattern, seems straight
It did,
consistent.
and it was small. I've heard a lot of people say the bigger sizes are better, and I can see that. But we were in really good calm conditions, and that smallest one they make pulled really well,
Yeah, it seemed to do good. We had
legit in calm.
nomads underneath them,
hmm
the deep divers, 30 and 40 foot, and we had the flying fish up top, trying to attract them. It's that time of year. It's
We got,
springtime.
and it was funny because we hit that wreck and chummed, and got the amberjacks up, but didn't pull any tuna off. But what we did was I ran quarter-mile away, got on a heading, and we set out our trolling spread
Yeah.
and went back to that area and caught our
right.
tuna trolling where we
That's right.
didn't catch any on live bait.
Yeah, it was a lot
It's
harder.
always worthwhile to put those plugs out and a couple of top
Man,
baits and scoot around. I mean, it's always worthwhile.
It's the hardest thing to convince somebody.
It is.
But once you catch a fish, they're done. Like,
Yeah.
think of some of the guys we've got, Matt and Steve, bottom fishing all their lives.
Yep.
All of a sudden, you put them on one wahoo and they see what happens.
Yeah.
Then a second and third and fourth wahoo, they're wahoo
you-
fishermen.
And
you
all of
know?
a sudden we run into a school of dolphin out there, you
Yeah.
know.
nice,
Nice
20
ones,
pounders.
yeah, up
Yeah.
to 20 pounds, and they're like, "Oh, we can do this? Yeah, let's
Yeah.
do this."
A lot, but you know, grouper fishing's great. We're blessed over here, west coast of Florida.
It really is good.
Central Florida, there's 20 different kinds of fish you can catch. They're not always open, but a lot of good eaters
Yeah,
and a lot of good sport fish. You know, we were talking about tarpon. Marquette called me today. I was talking to him down in Boca Grande, and you know, of course, he's caught the biggest world record already, and nobody
Yeah.
recorded it. But having a great time down there. The bite's on fire there.
I've seen a
jigs.
couple of his posts.
Yeah, he's got some big fish on
Yeah.
there, which is good for him. But I know there was a little battle down there between the jiggers and live bait. But talking to Dave Marquette, who's usually right in the middle of a little bit of drama, nothing going on.
It's all good.
Yep, 30 boats in the pass and having a good time. So
Nice.
give your number out again, Mark.
813-333-8257, and you can hit me up online at markandfish.com. Of course, I've got my social media stuff, Instagram and Facebook.
And it's all Mark and Fish.
Yep.
Good job, Mark.
Check it out. Check out some videos. Probably got Mahoney on a few of those.
Yeah.
At least narrating in the background. I can guarantee you half of them got Mahoney in it.
Don't believe all that stuff you see on social media. Mark, appreciate you coming out, buddy.
Thank you,
Until
buddy.
next time, hopefully we'll get on the boat soon.
Yep, we'll do it.